Alright, everybody, we are live. Welcome back. It has been a minute since our last stream, maybe a little over a week. But today, we are switching things up. For those of you who follow the tour, you would know we had a little bit of an independent series going on for the last little while, but not anymore. It's time to get into some huge action, and this show is a huge deal. Fans, welcome to the first ever Jackinator MT BeamNG Monster Jam Halloween Superstar Challenge. Depending on how this event goes, I really want to do this more going forward, but we'll see how this goes and kind of how just BeamNG goes for the next few years. So, for those of you who do not follow the circuit, every year there is a big series season tour called the BeamNG Monster Jam Destruction Series. That's where you really want to be. Throughout the postseason, there are things like the Fall Brawl Series, the Superstar Challenge, the Thanksgiving All-Star Challenge, and the Christmas Crush event, where drivers can attempt to make their way into the Destruction Series event. Or tour, I should say. And this is that big break for a lot of drivers. So, here's a little breakdown of how this is going to go, because this is actually a really big deal. So we'll talk about how this event's going to work, and then we'll talk about the competitors. So as you know, pretty normal setup for a Superstar. It's going to be timed racing, then it will be best trick, then it will be freestyle. No real surprises there. But, here's the big deal. The overall winner of tonight's event, that's right, tonight, the very first driver will get an invite to the BeamNG Destruction Series for 2026. That is huge. We are still about 3 months out from next year's season, and we are already going to be crowning the first competitor for that tour tonight. So big things happening in this event. You don't want to miss a second of it. And then, since it is a Superstar, there are two teams, which we'll get to in a minute. The team of 8 competitors that wins the event get automatic invites both to the Thanksgiving All-Star Challenge and the Christmas Crush. So there are a lot of big opportunities on the line here. All these drivers are going to have to be competing at their absolute best if they want to get those good outcomes out of this event. And I'm sure they're all feeling the pressure, because this is a huge floor here in St. Louis. Everyone's going to want to bring their all. But yeah, let's go over those lineups, and then we're going to get into the competition. So there are 2 teams. Of course, it's Halloween time, so you got to have that spooky team. So we do have Team Spooky out here. But it's Monster Jam. What's Monster Jam without a little destruction, which is going to be your other team. So, no real flair to the names, but 2 very different names here, I'll say that. So on Team Spooky tonight, we will see Weston Anderson in Gravedigger, Bari Musawwir in Zombie, Brianna Mahon in Pirate's Curse. That will be interesting to watch. Bryce Kenny in the Monster Mutt, Chris Koehler in Mayhem, Jim Koehler in Avenger, Tim Jones in Tailgator getting his first big break here with Monster Jam, and Tim Hall Jr. in Jurassic Attack. Now, taking a look at the other side of things on Team Destruction, we will have Adam Anderson, Gravedigger the Legend, Ryan Anderson, Son-Uva Digger, Blake Granger in Monster Mutt Dalmatian, Colt Stevens, ThunderROARus, Zack Garner, Wildside, Venard the Black Pearl, Mike Pagliarulo, Excaliber, and John Zimmer Jr. in Terminal Velocity. So, when I say 16 best of the best all-star competitors, I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, does it? That is a prime lineup right there. You're not going to want to miss this show. 3 huge competitions coming your way, and it's all going to start right here with timed racing. So fans, I hope you all are ready, strapped into your seats, because otherwise you're going to be up on your feet. So one of the 2 is going to have to happen here. Either you're going to be up on your feet, or you better be strapped in wherever you're watching. Maybe get a seatbelt on your couch while you're at it, because things are about to get pretty wild. So fans, I hope you all are ready. We have a huge show, and it all starts now with timed racing, Mike Pagliarulo, Excaliber. Keep in mind, the road to the 2026 Destruction Series starts here. This is a lot bigger than just try to become the Superstar event winner. No, this is going to determine the 2026 season for each and every one of these competitors. So there really is some big pressure on right now. And Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber, if I was in his position right now, I'd be pretty horrified. Because when I'm at an event like this, I do not want to be the one opening. I know that much. But especially with that said, Mike Pagliarulo is not much of a racer. Now, before his actual pass, he's going to demonstrate what this course will look like. So, they are going to start here, facing outwards from the racing lane. They're going to get started, take it around this turning car, tight around that ramp. Then there will be a bigger ramp up here that they'll have to tackle. They're going to hit the backside of this racing jump. Mike taking it a little slow, trying to not to damage the truck on the demonstration, I'm sure. Taking that turn, then they're going to hit the backside of the racing lane, get a tight turn in right here to switch into the other racing lane. They'll hit that, take it slow and steady down here so they don't roll it. And now they're back on the course here. They're going to hit this lane like this, get a little bit of a jammer right here, up and down. And they're going to take it up, over, and around from that car to the finish line. So there is Mike Pagliarulo and the Excaliber demonstrating what a nice pass looks like out here on this track. Of course, he is going to be opening this competition, so he is under some big pressure. And that was his big opportunity to get some practice in, because now that that's done, he's on to his one and only real pass he's going to get out here. So, again, Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber, give it up for him, fans. He is opening this competition. He's definitely under some pressure. He is now staged and ready at the line. This starts the 2025 BeamNG Monster Jam Halloween Superstar. Mike Pagliarulo goes green, and this gets the event underway. Nice hang time up and over that jump. Now what can he do? Ooh, bit of a stiff hit there on the backside of that racing lane, but he's going to keep it looking nice and neat here. This is that tight turn. There's really not a good way to take that, but he did try to slow it down a little bit. Coming up onto that 30-second mark, so we might want to pick up the pace a little bit here. Very nice turn right there. Mike Pagliarulo and the Excaliber up and over that jammer. Now, can he do it in this final turn? A lot of pressure for that Excaliber machine. Huge air across that finish. Oh, we might see our first crash of the night right off the bat. Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber. He is up and over. Fortunately, everything looks fine on that truck, but not too common that you'll see a rollover right off the bat right there. So, a crazy way to start the night. The time is a 45.37. Again, a 45.37 for Excaliber as Mike gets this competition started off right. He didn't look too fast in any parts of it, but he didn't roll until after the run was over, which is a plus. And, I mean, he looked pretty clean throughout the pass. He just didn't look super speedy the whole time, but definitely a good way to set the tone there. Mike Pagliarulo and Excaliber as we prepare for the next competitor to hit the track. There was a pass for Team Destruction. Now we're going to take it over here to Team Spooky for their first competitor. Keep in mind, this is racing, then best trick, then freestyle. Racing is not every driver's game. I would say it's not exactly Mike Pagliarulo's game, as he just went out there. And this next competitor, I'm not so sure I would say it is his game either, but I'm sure he is still ready to come out here, give it his all, fans. Let's resume the racing action with Tim Jones, Tailgator. Tim Jones, he has done very few Monster Jam events in his days, so to get an invite to a big show like this, he's definitely got to be a good feeling. Of course, being able to make his way out here because of his pretty successful performance in the Fall Brawl Series thus far. So Tim Jones and Tailgator, he has set a very, very nice ball rolling. But now he's got to try to keep that ball rolling. And that might be hard to do, but he's going to give it a shot. Tim Jones and Tailgator, he is looking to become your new leader. Big air right there. Take a look at that. Backside of that racing ramp gets way wide right there. That's going to be hard to make the time up for. Tim Jones, though, he's trying to. It's just, I don't know. This is going to be difficult. Nice turn, though. Look at that. Some parts of this track have not agreed with Tim Jones, but those last two turns certainly have. He has really picked things up here on the back half of this racing pass. And, I mean, this is picture perfect all the way down the second half of that for Tim Jones and Tailgator. He is going to cross the line with some very, very big speed. I will say, though, although he definitely picked up the pass in the second half, he struggled for a good while there, and that is going to hurt his time. There's going to be a 46.56, which just looking at it, just looking at what was happening there, I actually thought he was going to get the lead, but I guess those wide turns were a little too far out there, because no, he will not be getting the lead. That is going to put him in second place currently, which is not a bad place at the moment, but that is last place as it is, so it would not be too surprising if that were to fall a little bit as we go on. Well, fans, we're going to keep things going here. We're going to throw it over to Team Destruction once again. Of course, we're going to go do some back and forth here in this first competition, and then the competitions after this one are going to be based off of their placement. So, fans, get ready. Moving into the next competitor, please welcome with Team Destruction, Colt Stevens, ThunderROARus. Colt Stevens not new behind the wheel. This ThunderROARus truck might still seem young, but it's actually already coming up on 4 years of competition, which is crazy. The 2026 season will be this truck's 4th year running. It's hard to believe, but it is true. So it's crazy how time flies like that when Colt Stevens is having fun. But now is his chance to become a winner at one of the biggest shows in all of Monster Jam. He's ready to go. Very nice turn out of the gate. Colt Stevens and ThunderROARus. He is here to play. Backside of this racing lane has given some trouble to other competitors, but not Colt Stevens. He is going to tackle it pretty perfectly. Downside, very nice. Colt Stevens and ThunderROARus. We might be seeing your winning pass right now if he can keep this up. A little wide in that turn, but really he stayed on the throttle. Good momentum. This is easily the fastest pass so far. Can he keep it up to the finish line? Yes, he can. Colt Stevens and ThunderROARus, big acceleration, and he's going to pull out one of Tom Mentz's very own moonwalks. Colt Stevens, when you're on Team Destruction, you got to live up to the Destruction name, and what better way to do that than pay homage to a, well, not a driver, the Max D driver. Wonderful work there by Colt Stevens. His time, a 43.72. He is without struggle going to become your new leader tonight. Very well done by Colt Stevens. He came here to play, but he also went home with a win. Well, not a win yet, but with the lead. So we'll see if that win holds up or not. But thus far, things are looking pretty good for Colt Stevens. Now, fans, coming up next, this is your reigning BeamNG World Racing Champion. Please welcome to the track, Brianna Mahon, Pirate's Curse. So, Pirate's Curse, not a truck that you would usually expect to see Brianna Mahon behind the wheel of, but we had to find a ride here that fit the mysterious scariness of Team Spooky well enough, and what better way to do that than a truck that is literally a zombie skeleton. I mean, this is a perfect mixture, and on top of that, it's even a little ghostly today, a special scheme running. Brianna, being your reigning World Racing Champion, definitely under some added pressure to stay fast. Can she do it? Let's find out. She is off the line. Off to a very nice start. I'm not sure if it holds up to Colt Stevens yet. That's something that we're going to have to kind of just wait to see as this pass goes on. But so far, this is looking very promising for Brianna Mahon and the Pirates Curse, trying to give this new ride some success. And honestly, this might end up being the winning pass as well. Oh no! Wait, if she can get this back though, very nicely done by Brianna Mahon, saving herself from disaster. Now, I think it's safe to say we won't be seeing her taking home the win anymore, but she is at least not going to get a DNF, and she is at least going to get points on the board. And especially in a team setting like this, every point you can get is a point that is going to count. So Brianna Mahon, Pirates Curse, despite the rollover, she is going to do what she can to put down a good time. And I think that is the most respectable thing a competitor can do. Stay on it, even when the race is lost, because every point counts. The time is going to be a 49.45, which, yes, that is last place right now, but honestly, a 49 is not bad for taking about 6 seconds to roll over. Like, statistically speaking, if she didn't roll over right there, she would be in the lead. Because of how long that rollover took up, though, not able to grab the lead. So, some interesting stuff going on there for Brianna Mahon. She is going to be in last place right now, but she put down a great wow moment and a completed pass. Well, let's throw it back over to Team Destruction fans. Coming up, please welcome Cole Venard, the Black Pearl. Cole Venard, no stranger to the monster truck world. He's been doing this for actually a full decade now. I was going to say half a decade. No, it's been a full decade of Cole Venard driving. Great air right there, by the way. He's just trying to get some practice in, trying to feel out these ramps a little bit, I'm sure. But what really needs to happen here is a good pass. Right now, the two fastest times both belong to Cole Venard's team. I'm sure he's looking to keep that up, but a lot of it's going to come down to his success in this pass. Actually, the entirety of it's going to come down to this pass. If he has a bad pass right now, then his team streak comes to an end. So some even more added pressure here for Cole Venard. But I'll tell you what, he is handling that pressure very well. This is actually looking like it's also a super clean pass. I don't know if it's the cleanest one yet. I was saying that about Brianna, and then she rolled it. So I think I'm just going to sit back and watch what happens here. But Cole Venard is putting himself in the runnings for it very confidently here. This is a pretty comfortable run so far. But what can he do? Oh, he's getting hiked up. Oh, no. Can he save it even? Oh, no. Oh, he might get it back. Yes, he can. If he can refire this and finish the pass. He can refire it. Cole Venard, what a crazy way to end the racing pass. Huge air. Oh, my goodness. Unfortunately, it is by far going to be the slowest time of the night. No surprise when you actually get shut off during your pass. I can't say I would expect to be the fastest pass when my truck shuts off in the middle of it. That is going to be a minute 5, which is massive. I don't think there has ever been a time quite that long in Monster Jam history, but there's a first for everything, and tonight, Cole Venard finds himself on that list of firsts. So, maybe not the way he wanted to get in the history books, but he certainly did. That does end that pretty good streak that his team was having. But I'm sure it won't be the worst thing to happen tonight. He at least was still able to complete the pass, which means he will still get points. Fortunately, being able to refire. If he had not been able to refire, he wouldn't have been able to finish the pass. He would have got 0 points. So he still did what he could to try and get some points for the team, even if it didn't go exactly as planned. Well, fans, let's toss it back to Team Spooky here in that Halloween mindset. We're going to put it into Bryce Kenny and the Monster Mutt. Take a look at that body. You can hear me reacting to it. I am shocked at how cool this thing looks. That is Monster Mutt Zombie coming out here. Bryce Kenny and the Monster Mutt feeling out of that track as well. I mean, when you're trying to get staged here, might as well. Bryce, Kenny, Monster, Mutt, Zombie getting into position here. Pressure is on for him. So far, his team has been pretty harshly underperforming, but this is his chance to maybe help his team out a little bit. And he's off and running here in racing. Taking that turn a little bit wide. Maybe that'll help him, though, because he's going to get a lot of speed across that big jammer. Wow, so that was a very different approach compared to anything we have seen so far. This is a very different approach, too. He's actually going to try to drift the truck into the jump and hope that it would help him out a little bit, I guess, which it did not. So Bryce Kenny, this might end up being just as low down as Brianna Mahon's pass if he's not careful. This might end up being the slowest pass for his team if he can't pick up the speed. Actually, that might have all worked out for him, actually. Now that I look at the times, that was actually really good for Bryce. I don't know what he quite did right. I mean, that truck looked like it was all over the place, but I guess keeping up the momentum helped him out. Because, whoops, my apologies. Because that time to beat was a 43.72. The time for Bryce, 43.78. So he is actually very, very nicely going to find himself in second place right now. I did not see that coming. I actually thought that was going to be a really low ranking pass, but the more you know, that is actually going to put Bryce and his team in a much better position. And they are, now Team Spooky and Team Destruction are about tied up, so something we'll want to keep in mind here. Getting ready to keep things running here. Keep in mind both of these teams with the opportunities to get invites to some other pretty major events. And we're going to roll straight into this next pass. Let's toss it back to Team Destruction with Blake Granger, Monster Mutt Dalmatian. Blake Granger yet to get much of a presence here on the BeamNG circuit. He did do pretty good all throughout the season, though, so I guess not something to bat an eye about. He definitely has been doing pretty good. The question, though, is can he bring that success here at the Halloween Superstar Challenge? Quite frankly, none of these runs have been up to standard except for maybe one or two. Shockingly, though, a run that was pretty sloppy in some parts is actually going to grab second place. So maybe this is still anyone's game as Blake Granger, Monster Mutt Dalmatian is ready to go. Nice turn right there. Blake is actually looking pretty perfect right here. It's a little messy right there, but he's actually just going to use all that to his advantage. This is not to his advantage, though. That might end up being a 5-second penalty for being towards the inside of that turning pod. We're going to have to wait and see how they feel about that. Blake, you can tell he's trying to make up for that mistake, but he is just making it worse and worse as he goes along here. He cannot line up for anything nicely. He's just trying to be too fast and not enough cleanliness in this pass, I guess I would say. So Blake Granger trying to get it done, and now he's getting some practicing for best trick as well. Take a look at that. Straight out of Tom Mentz's book. He's just having fun with it at this point. Blake Granger, Monster Mutt Dalmatian. And yes, we are receiving word that will be a 5-second penalty. So, his time was a 44.25. However, with the penalty applied, he will have a 49.25 for his official time. So, Blake Granger, Monster Mutt Dalmatian, pretty rough night. He seemed like he was pretty excited to put something down, but unfortunately, was a little too excited. He cut some corners too tight and got just a little bit too out of hand. So far, we are half the way through Team Destruction, and this next competitor will mark the halfway point for Team Spooky. So fans, please welcome to the track the greatest independent or I guess I should say the most iconic independent competitor in Monster Jam history, Jim Koehler, Avenger. Jim Koehler, he's coming out here like it's freestyle. He's forgetting where he is right now. He is supposed to be going out there and staging for his pass, but I guess he really wants to feel out those ramps pretty nicely. He is the first of 2 Team Screen competitors coming out here tonight, so under the pressure not only to perform for Team Spooky, but also for Team Screen. Oh no, oh this is just not good for Jim Koehler. If he can get this back, he can still complete the pass. He will get it back. It's a little bit towards that out of bounds area, but he's going to keep it within bounds. But this is just a disaster. I mean, even if he ran the rest of this race perfectly, he's already set about 5 seconds behind here, and at that point, I mean, what are you really going to get out of it? So, Jim Koehler and Avenger, this is rough. He is already nearly 40 seconds into his pass. That is an obscene amount of time for where he is on the track right now. This is just not the night for Team Screen so far. Can Jim Koehler pick it up down the straightaway? Huge speed. Oh my goodness. Jim Koehler trying to make up for his mistakes in that pass. But I am getting word that on that last jump, Jim Koehler and the Avenger, he actually failed to, my apologies fans, he actually failed to get those front BKTs across that ramp, which means Jim Koehler will receive a 5-second penalty. So the time he would have received would be a 53.6. Instead, that will be a 58.6. So that is now 2 runs in a row where drivers have received some penalties. So we really need to keep our eye on that as we proceed here. Drivers need to make sure that they are running the course clean. Sure, speed is important, but not getting penalties should always be first priority. It doesn't matter how fast you complete the course. As soon as you get 1 5-second penalty, you're out of that top spot. So, I mean, right now the leading time is a 43. Yeah, you can try to go out there and put down a 42, but if that means not getting all your tires across the racing ramp, then that means you're actually getting a 47, and that means you are not the new leader. So drivers need to focus on getting a clean pass over anything. They're biting off more than they can chew, and it is not paying off. Jim Koehler, Brianna, Mahon, Mike Pagliarulo is actually looking alright, but the drivers like Colt, Venard, and Brianna Mahon rolling over. Drivers like Jim Koehler and Granger getting penalties. It is not working out to just try and gas it out. These drivers need to take a step back, slow it down, and try a different strategy. We are now halfway through timed racing. We'll see if these drivers choose to adapt that as we go through. But before we can find that out, we're going to have to get this next competitor staged and ready, fans. Please welcome to the track, John Zimmer Jr., Terminal Velocity. Man, this track design took the color scheme straight out of John Zimmer Jr.'s book, that Terminal Velocity truck. He might as well be on Team Spooky with a truck of those colors, and now he is just showing off. Coming out here for timed racing. Currently, his teammate Colt Stevens remains your leading pass. So, John Zimmer Jr., he's looking to get it done. When your own teammate is leading, there is certainly going to be some more added pressure because you don't want to let the team down. You want to live up to the hype of your team. Team Destruction is that team for John Zimmer Jr. He's actually looking pretty good right now. Could be better in some parts of this pass, but oh, see? This is what I was saying. He put too much speed into that turn, oversteered, and now this pass is just in really big trouble. Oh, he might roll it right here as well. Truck is going to right itself. I mean, this is just, again, if you try to do more than you're really capable of, it's going to turn into a disaster. It doesn't matter how committed you are. It's a matter of what the truck can handle. And it cannot handle what John Zimmer Jr. is trying to throw at it right now. And that is why that ended up being one of the worst passes of the night. With one spin out, one rollover, and one near penalty when he took it over those fuel tanks somehow instead of the racing lane. I don't know how. He did hit the racing lane, but ended up over the fuel tanks. That time is going to be a 54.95. 54.95. That is the second worst time for Team Destruction so far, and it is the third worst time of the night. So, gotta be putting a little bit of a bitter taste in his mouth, but I mean, that's the thing. You gotta be on your A game. You gotta stay on your A game, and he was not on his A game. Well, fans, we're going to move it into your next competitor as we take it back to Team Spooky. And this is a driver I think we should all be very excited to see. Behind the wheel of the Jurassic Attack, please welcome Tim Hall Jr. and Jurassic Attack. Coming out here at the Superstar Challenge. This is the biggest opportunity Tim Hall Jr. has ever had, and I'm sure he is excited to take it tonight. So Tim Hall Jr. and Jurassic Attack. He's getting ready to go here. We've seen drivers take a bit of a different approach with staging. Some drivers like to be a little bit more angled. Some drivers like to be more on the inside. Some like to be more on the outside. So we'll see how that changes as we go throughout the night here. Right now, though, Tim Hall Jr. seems to be eyeing the inside of that staging area. And we'll see how that goes. It is actually going to push him into that turn very nicely, which I'm sure is what he was going for. Tim Hall Jr., he is looking to get the lead into Team Spooky's hands. I mean, who are we kidding? It's Halloween time. Team Spooky certainly should be leaving the winners, but so far their performance has not put them in that position. This will not help them out. Can he get it back, though? No, he cannot. So the first DNF of the night goes to Tim Hall Jr., Jurassic Attack. A very tough break for Tim Hall Jr. I'm sure he was looking to get a little bit more done tonight, but unfortunately, that pass is going to come to a very early end. And I mean, sometimes that's just the luck of the draw. You drive hard, you play hard. Well, when you do that, you gotta crash hard too. And that's what we saw for Tim Hall Jr. and the Jurassic Attack. Again, that is going to be your first DNF of the night. There's no official time for me to provide you, fans. That is it. That is up and over and done for Tim Hall Jr. A tough break, but it will certainly push him a little harder in those next coming competitions, because I mean, when you are coming off of a low performance, and I think this goes for anything in life, you're gonna try to push yourself harder the next time you get the opportunity, and I have a feeling we're gonna see that same thing going here for Tim Hall Jr. and Jurassic Attack. Well, fans, now things are starting to get crazy, because we're gonna toss it over to Adam Anderson, Gravedigger the Legend. 6 competitors left to go here in timed racing, Adam Anderson being one of them. This has been one of those rare instances where times have actually gotten slower as the night has gone on. The fastest times have all been from those first few competitors. So Adam now has the opportunity to change that, but it's going to come down to this pass right here. Adam Anderson wasting no time. Off the line. Ooh, there is a 5-second penalty for the Legend, though. I'll say it again and again and again until the drivers start realizing this. It's not about just getting around the course fast. You have to prioritize completing the course correctly, because one penalty will turn your winning pass into your 10th or 11th place pass. And right now, Adam Anderson, Gravedigger the Legend, is on course to do exactly that. Big acceleration to the finish line. Adam Anderson, Gravedigger the Legend. Now, this is going to go exactly to what I was just saying. I was saying that you can put down a wonderful time, but it only takes one penalty to ruin that. And that is exactly what we just observed for Adam Anderson. His time is going to be a 44.04 clocking in. But with that 5-second penalty, that drops all the way down to a 49.04. When I say consistency is absolute key on this circuit, I can't exaggerate that enough. You have to be consistent, you have to stay clean on your pass, and you cannot afford to get a penalty. Every driver that's got a penalty so far has suffered huge in points because of it. Adam Anderson, not going to be any exception there. We're officially down to 5 competitors as we've reached the tail end of timed racing. And coming up next, maybe the face of Team Spooky himself, it's Bari Musawwir driving Zombie. Bari, he has a lot to represent here because, I mean, he's kind of the whole face of these scary trucks and Monster Jam. He has driven this zombie truck for about a decade now, so this is kind of his whole identity. And I'm sure it gives him something a little bit more to represent and a little bit more of added pressure tonight. Bari getting off the line here. Takes that turn very tight, but it's actually going to drift him into that jump very nicely. The problem, though, is does he lose momentum because of it? He does look a little bit lost right there, but he's going to recoup it nicely. So Bari Musawwir, he is running a nice, clean pass right now. Like I've been saying, cleanliness over efficiency. That is always going to be the way to go, at least on this racing course, it seems. Because anyone who tries to push the truck a little bit too hard rolls over or gets a penalty. Bari Musawwir, though, he is just making sure this truck stays nice and balanced. He might actually be able to grab the lead. No! And the fastest pass of the night comes straight back to the whole point that I was trying to make. That whole entire pass. You have to stay clean, even in the parts where you have to go fast. Bari gassed it to that finish line so fast that he got himself uncentered with that racing ramp, and he's going to get a 5-second penalty. His time of a 44.54 is going to turn to a 49.54. Another driver taking a big blow due to a big penalty. Hopefully we can see some drivers starting to figure their things out as this event goes on, because, I mean, quite frankly, too many competitors have suffered due to those penalties, and I want to see a good competitive racing competition, but there have only been 2 competitors to go sub 44. 2 competitors to go sub 45. So, that's insane. These competitors need to pick it up. There are only 4 drivers left, and these teams are starting to look a little bit scary with points, I'll say. These drivers need to start focusing on their teams. They need to start focusing on running their own race, and they need to focus on staying tight in the turns. Well, 4 competitors left, 2 for each team. Coming up for Team Destruction is Zack, Garner, and Wildside. Zack Garner yet to walk away with any major wins on the BeamNG circuit here. However, he is very, very close to becoming a series points champion on the Fall Brawl season and certifying his spot in the Christmas Crush event. If he can do that, he is one step closer to the 2026 Destruction Series. But he could win his way into it right now, starting at this racing pass. Zack, Garner, and Wildside, there we go. Very nice way to get things started here. Nice. Perfect. Zack Garner, he is looking to play to win right now. He is going to be the first driver to actually nail that turn in probably about 8 drivers. So Zack Garner and Wildside, this might end up being your winning, or at least leading pass. If he can just keep on this and not overdo anything, Ooh, that might be bad. Got a little too high up there. And that time it took to fall might have hurt his time. But I don't think it will. Zack, Garner, and Wildside full speed to the finish line. His time, a 43.07. Zack, Garner, and Wildside. He is going to be your new leader here in the timed racing competition. He is celebrating and he didn't even win. That is how big of a deal having a good passes. I mean, it wasn't even super fast. It was just an actual half decent time that Zack Garner put down. Again, that was a 43.07. Zack Garner finds himself in the lead, and Team Halloween finds themselves in very, very, very big trouble right now because Team Destruction has been staying fast and consistent here in racing. And right now, things are, well, I'll just say they're looking very bad for Team Spooky. They need to get their things figured out. 3 competitors remain. Please welcome to the track, Team Scream Zone, Koehler, Mayhem. Koehler was your 2025 last chance qualifier winner. The thing that's so crazy about that is out of 24 competitors and 48 passes on that track, Koehler put down both of the 2 fastest passes in the LCQ. Not 1, 2. That Koehler, he has been on fire this year. On top of that basically double win in the LCQ, Koehler got a full event sweep on the Fall Brawl Series and is leading the points on that series right now. So he has a lot to live up to in this racing pass. Koehler and Mayhem, he is off the line. Up and over that first ramp, he's looking pretty good here. Zack Garner did not make it easy though. All these competitors are going to have to drive their trucks a little bit more competitively to try and live up to that. Koehler, ooh, late on the rear steer. I don't know if that was him or if it was just a little bit of delay from the truck, but the amount of time it took him to hit the rear steer there, he took that turn way too wide. That is something he needs to avoid doing, as he has taken it up and over that jammer now. He has the opportunity to actually get himself very high up in points. Huge acceleration to the finish line. Koehler and Mayhem, he is also going to pull out that little moonwalk. There is just so much momentum coming off the end of these racing passes that we have seen probably 5 or 6 drivers go for that. That is just, I mean, it is a testament to how hard these drivers are pushing their trucks in an effort to win here. Great work there by Koehler. He's going to put down a time of a 44.89. 44.89. Not going to put him in that leading position, but that does put him in 3rd place. 4th place. A great position to be in for Koehler and Mayhem. Again, that is 4th place. Not the lead, not the win, but his team needs points. And I'll tell you what, that'll get his team some points. Fans, there are only 2 competitors left to go here in timed racing. We have seen DNFs, we have seen penalties, but we have seen some pretty fast times. These last drivers left have their work cut out for them. They are both world champions here on the BeamNG circuit, and they both share the same last name, fans. Coming up first of the 2, Ryan Anderson, son of a digger. Ryan Anderson, one of the most experienced and critical acclaimed drivers in all of monster trucks. There are not many to do it like Ryan Anderson. They say he is a 5-time world champion. Some would say he's a 2-time world champion though. And he is now getting ready to go here. Last pass for Team Destruction. This is their chance to take home a win. Team Destruction currently leading. Oh, wow. Oh, Ryan's just having fun with it at this point. Well, that is going to be very, very damaging here. He's going to try and complete this pass, but I mean, at this point, what's done is done. Let it be laid to rest. This is just, gosh, this is a rare instance of a horrible pass for Ryan Anderson. He just barely, I don't know if you fans saw that, he barely clipped the front end of that turn car coming out of that first turn, and that was all it took to turn this whole pass into disaster. Honestly, though, I wouldn't even say this whole pass was into disaster. Outside of that start, this was one of the better passes we've seen, and he probably would have been able to take home the lead if it weren't for just barely clipping that turn car. And with only one competitor left, it's kind of too late for drivers to learn not to do that. This last driver can use that lesson to his advantage, though. Now, with all that said, fans, it's officially time to get rolling for your final driver that will be coming out here in racing. We've seen fast times and slow times, but this driver wants the winning time. Time for Ryan Anderson was a 53.85, but I'm sure his younger brother wants to look faster than that. Fans, coming up last, here in timed racing, the captain of Team Spooky. Please welcome Weston Anderson, Gravedigger. You want to talk about a driver who will get it done no matter what, then talk about Weston Anderson. He is your reigning BeamNG World Two-Wheel Skills Champion. He knows what it takes. He has gotten it done here before. Now he has the chance to get it done again. He is just showing off right now. We have seen several competitors take that approach here as they are getting ready to get staged. And Weston's going to take one out of their book as well. He is now ready to go. He is your final competitor. Weston Anderson, this is his one and only chance to try and take home a win for Team Spooky. Or I guess the one and only chance that Team Spooky has to take home a win in racing is what I should say. Every other competitor is gone. Right now, Team Destruction holds the lead with Zack, Garner, and Wildside. Weston Anderson is looking to grab it, though. I can tell that to you fans right away. This is picture perfect so far. Wow. He just basically traced that turn. There is not a better way to go about that turn, I don't think. Hard hit on the front end, but fortunately everything's going to hold up. Weston Anderson might get it done down the straightaway. Huge air. Is it going to be enough, fans? Let's wait and find out here. Weston's looking excited, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. The time to beat belongs to Zack, Garner, and Wildside with a 43.07. The time for Weston Anderson, Gravedigger, is... It is a 43 flat. Weston Anderson and Gravedigger is officially your timed racing competition winner. Weston Anderson and Gravedigger last second going to be able to get it done for Team Spooky. They are feeling festive, and that is huge news. That's a lot of points to Team Spooky for one, but for two, this is a huge opportunity for Weston Anderson to now try and find himself in that 2026 Destruction Series. He is now 16 points closer to being on the biggest courses in all of Monster Jam next season. Fans, let's hear it for Weston Anderson and Gravedigger. He is your timed racing winner. Well, fans, we're going to take a short break here as we prepare for the best trick competition. We're going to get some co-hosts here in the booth with us, and then we'll be ready to get back up and running, fans. I hope you all are ready for Best Trick. Alright fans, my apology for that short break. I also forgot, I set this up a little bit weird, so I didn't have any music to play in the background this time, but we counted up all the points, and this is massive news. Right now, Team Destruction has 68 points, and Team Spooky, coming off of that win, also has 68 points. It's hard to believe, but right now, this event is completely tied up. Something that I never would have expected. But fans, we have some more big news. Because joining us in the commentary booth today, once again, please welcome Brett Knackley.
What's up, fans? This has been a really entertaining show so far. Team Spooky took the racing win, but Team Destruction is so stacked. I just can't imagine that they don't have a big bounce back win here in the best trick competition. I'm excited to see how it goes down.
Absolutely going to have to agree with you there. Team Destruction, I think, will have a little bit more star competitors for this. I think Team Spooky, they're a little bit more technical, so I'll be interested to see what they do with that, but Team Destruction has some heavy hitters as well. With both teams having 68 points, there's a lot on the line here as we get started in Best Trick. And coming up first, coming off of a rough rollover in racing, it's Tim Hall Jr., Jurassic Attack.
Tim Hall Jr. he's such an up-and-comer in this sport, but really just had a great rookie year this year. He was the best on two wheels. I just love to see a great two-wheel here, maybe a combo. We'll see what he does.
So that is something good to point out. Although this is called Best Trick, because some fans see the word Best Trick and they think, oh, these drivers have to go out there and do something crazy never before seen. Well, no. If you're trying to get points for yourself and for your team, it's a perfectly acceptable decision to just go out there and get a good, consistent skills run. That will get you points. So, I'll be interested to see if Tim Hall Jr. chooses that approach here tonight.
Looked like he was setting up for one, but then might have made a second choice, so we'll see what he does here.
He got a little bit of a better idea. It looks like he is eyeing something here. Might be ready to go. Only one attempt, fans. And
very clean Bari.
Beautiful balance.
Let's see if he can walk it back into a combo. That's a move that he's become kind of synonymous for, so we'll see if he can get that done.
Let's see if he can maybe get a little bit more out of it. He's going to try.
Oh, he does.
That is what I'm talking about. Tim Hall Jr. and Jurassic Attack, they call him one of the best right now for nothing. He is going for it right now.
And another great combo. This is really just making the fans forget all about that DNF in racing.
Absolutely. The body might be gone, but the spirit is not. Tim Hall Jr. Jurassic Attack, he's trying to give it a little bit more. But it looks like that is where it's going to come to an end, fans. Put your hands together for Tim Hall Jr. Jurassic Attack. Now, one thing I find funny here is, back when you did, I want to say Madison commentary, that one Best Trick move was better than the 24 hit attempts that we saw in Madison, which I find kind of funny.
I have to agree with you. That was quite an impressive move. It wasn't anything that we've never seen before, which a lot of fans, as you said, try and look for that in the Best Trick competition, but it was beautifully executed. Great combo. Great score in my book. I'm going to have to give that an 8.5 out of 10.
8.5 for Brett. I would say just going, it was very cool and it was very consistent, but if I'm just going also based off of what we've seen in the Fall Brawl Series, combinations like that are not super rare. I'm going to lock in a score of an 8.25. So those scores together here. Tim Hall Jr. kicks the competition off with an 8.375, which not a huge score, but it's definitely a lot better than a DNF. So Tim Hall Jr., I'm sure he'll be feeling pretty decent about that. Now this next competitor, I'll be very interested to see what he does, because this is not really his type of competition, but you never know. Who's coming up next?
This is Colt Venard, the Black Pearl.
Cole had a crazy night in racing. He pulled off an absolutely killer save, but it did cost him his entire racing pass, so we'll see what he can do here in Best Trick. Again, I wouldn't say this is exactly his competition. I'm very interested to see what approach he chooses to take.
Cole moves it normally does. He'll do a bicycle, he'll do a reverse wheelie. I think a bicycle, maybe see if he can pull off a combo.
Yes, that is all absolutely true. Cole has all sorts of moves up his sleeve. You never know what he's going to pull out. And I think tonight won't be any different.
Zack.
Let's see what he can do here. Oh.
Was he going to go for a stoppie?
Looks like he's going to go for getting stuck on the ramp. Alright, not liking what he's seeing there. He's going to take this move elsewhere. There's definitely some pretty creative ideas on this big open floor, but again, how are you going to take it from skills challenge to best trick? You have to raise the bar somehow, and I don't know how Cole's going to try and do that, but we're going to have to wait and see.
Beautiful Cole Venard reverse bike.
Oh! Can he get it? Wow!
Oh my goodness.
One of a kind. We saw similar things like that at the Monster Jam All-Star Challenge back in 2019, where I would say it might have been Tyler Meninga, I can't quite remember, who tried to do a moonwalk into backflip like Armando Castro at the World Finals. Well, Cole Venard said, "Can I do that but with a wheelie?" And he tried, and well, I would say he semi-succeeded. Unfortunately, not able to pull out the save, but he did get the base of the trick down, and I think he deserves some credit for that. What do you think?
I think that was a really good run. You know, it didn't have the longevity that Tim Hall Jr.'s run had, and it didn't have the success, but just on its event, that attempt was so exciting. You know, the fans here in New Orleans are just all... I would give that a solid 7.2.
7.2 from Brett. I'm going to be honest, I think it was cool that execution was there, but unfortunately the truck control was not. Because of that, I'm going to give it a 7.5. So that score tonight, 7.35 for Cole Venard and the Black Pearl. That is not going to be enough for that top spot, but it puts him in a bit of a notable position. Now, we're going to talk about competitors that I really don't know what they're going to do in this competition. I think this next driver is a great example of that. Who's coming up next to the track?
Is that Mayhem?
Almost.
Avenger, sorry. Oh my gosh. This is Jim Koehler, Mr. Excitement, Avenger.
Jim, yeah, I would be confused too if I saw a truck this awesome on the track. He's got a whole new scheme slapped on that thing. He said there was a move he was actually practicing coming into the show, so I'll be very interested to see what that might mean for Jim Koehler. But he said there is something he has in mind that he was trying to get down, or I guess not really get down, but try to map out in his head, if that makes sense. So let's see what he can do here. He's got something in mind. Keep in mind the drivers only have one attempt. So let's see what Jim Koehler can do. He's actually backing this up really far. I'm scared for this attempt.
Launch this.
Well, we're gonna wait and see here. Power wheelie. Huge error for the Avenger. Oh! Oh, wow. That did not go to plan.
Oh, Jim.
Big breakup here, if you fans can see that. That is a 4-link bar, maybe a tie rod. Fortunately, it looks like that's about it, but tough break for Jim. If I had to guess, he was probably trying to do full send in a backflip, but it turned into full send in a crash madness. But let's be realistic here. Would you expect anything less from Jim Koehler?
Absolutely not. That is such a classic Koehler move. Just full send it, man. Why not?
Absolutely. I will say he took a much different approach so far. I'll be honest, from what we saw from Cole Venard and Tim Hall Jr., those moves seemed a little bit uninspired. They were cool but generic. Jim actually tried to do something a little bit different. Even if it didn't work out, I think he deserves some props for that. But I say we pass it over to the scores.
You know, my gripe with that move is it was definitely brave, but you can put just about anyone in a monster truck, they hold the gas up or they can go into a ramp.
Right.
With that attempt is going to get 7.1 for me.
7.1 for Brett. I'm going to switch it up here. I'm going to give it a 6.5. It just was not up to standards with this show. That score in the end, 6.8. Jim Koehler, Team Spooky needs to get their things figured out. Because Jim not only had a horrible racing pass, he had a pretty bad score here in best trick, and realistically speaking, I don't know if I told you this, but the overall winner of this show gets the first bid into next year's Monster Jam Destruction Series, and the team that wins this event gets an invite to the Christmas Crush event, which is basically the last event to determine who's in next year's series. So there are a lot of big things on the line, and so far, I don't think these drivers are driving up to that standard.
Definitely not, but you also have to take into consideration that with the exception of Tim Hall Jr., majority of these drivers aren't necessarily known for their skills, and best trick kind of plays into that. I will say, though, that is one thing that drivers always talk about is they want to get the Christmas Crush event. I'd like to see some drivers put it all out on the line and try and get there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think every driver's talked about that. I think I even heard Carl Van Horn one time say, man, I can't wait to see that Christmas Crush, but we're going to have to wait and see, because so far these drivers have not been driving like they want to be there. But now...
Do that, though.
Yeah, we definitely need to see some improvement, but if anyone's going to pick it up, it's this guy.
Lil John, as some call him, John Zimmer Jr., terminal velocity.
John Zimmer Jr. said he really wants to get creative with this big floor space. There's a lot of opportunity, but a lot of room for error with how much open space there is on the track. So, 1 second here, trying to adjust some things with that truck. But it looks like he's got a little bit of something in mind. Now, the move he wants to do, he said, is very risky because there is a high chance of failure, but he knows it's high risk, high reward. So, we'll see what he does here. He's definitely setting up for something, though. You can tell he's got something big in mind because he's very dead set on centering this truck.
Well, he has a backflip ramp behind it, step up in front. Does he go front or back?
Front or back? The question all drivers have asked themselves before.
And he goes back. Oh, does he have it? John Zimmer
Very
Jr.
nicely done by
Before.
terminal velocity. Oh!
Oh, he's got it.
Into a wheelie!
Oh my goodness.
You have got to be kidding me!
That is a World Finals Championship winning attempt right there.
John Zimmer Jr. trying to get his name into the history books again with quite possibly the craziest thing to happen in the postseason so far. Wow. What a move. I mean, what was going through your head as you watched that attempt happen?
Do you expect anything less from John Zimmer Jr.? I mean, seriously, this kid is one of the best talents in Monster Jam, besides maybe Weston Anderson. You don't get much better than John Zimmer Jr., and he's proving it there. That score is going to be a 9.58 out of me.
9.58 from Brett. I'll say it was very cool. It was something we've seen before, so I want to leave some room for maybe something new to get in, so I'm going to give it a 9.45. So the official score for terminal velocity, 9.515. Huge score. John Zimmer Jr., no problem, going to take that lead.
Well, that's part of that run for the fans is got something great, but now everyone has up that. So all the drivers are going to be on the next level to try and beat it. So this is going to be a great show for them.
Absolutely. From here, it's all uphill. We saw a lot of bad things happen in the first half of the show, but now that we're starting to near the second half, the drivers are clearly picking it up, and I'm excited to see how that will change. And coming up next, if anyone knows how to raise the bar, I'll tell you, it's going to be this guy right here. Coming up, a 5-time, some would say 2-time, Monster Jam World Champion, Ryan Anderson, son of a digger. Ryan is one of the most notorious innovators in the sport. He is the driver oftentimes credited with inventing the moonwalk, but what can he invent tonight? That is the question. What is that next big thing? Well, he said there's something he wants to test out, but it is a very risky move, even beyond what we have seen from John Zimmer Jr., so we'll see how it goes. Ryan Anderson looking for a good spot to make this move happen. He seemed really dead set on doing something that we don't see very often. What do you think you might be eyeing here?
Well, you know, Ryan's known for his bicycles, and it looks like that might be what he's lining up for, but on a racing little turn hill, that would be an interesting way to get one set up.
Absolutely here. Let's see. No, he's not going to like the leverage he's getting on that. I'm going to have to agree with him. That would have been a pretty dumb way to waste a attempt here. But I'm still interested to see what his different move he has planned is. Might be eyeing that skills obstacle. That might help him out a little bit more.
Yeah, that's a new thing that's being implemented on tracks these days. It's a metal obstacle you walks, poppers, that type of thing, but he might try and utilize it for a bicycle we haven't seen before.
Brian Anderson innovating the sport every day. There we go. Is that what he was eyeing?
Grab walk, bicycle.
Trying to get a wheelie out of it. Not going to be able to do that, fans. Let's hear it for Ryan Anderson, son of a digger. Not sure if you can hear that there, but he is revving up that truck on that pod. He is feeling proud of that attempt. Well, here's my 2 cents. It was cool. It was a little different. But I don't know if it was groundbreaking. I don't know. What were your thoughts as you were watching that happen?
Well, you know, to my knowledge, a crab walk has never been done before. The move wasn't sustained. It looked like he wanted to get it into a combo he was able to do. And just in comparison to John Jr.'s run, this was not very impressive. The fan reaction kind of says that, you know, the fans were going crazy. The thousands of fans in attendance were going crazy after his run. They really were pretty quiet after that run. With that being said, I think my score is going to come 7.1.
Very well said. I think definitely did not have the shock factor. It was cool. I'm glad it was successful. And I'm really excited to see what he adds to it next year. But I'm going to have to give that a 6.75. So, the official score tonight for Son of...
What?
I give it a 6.5.
Oh, I thought you said 6 point something else 5.
Oh, no, don't worry. Actually, I think I might have, actually. I genuinely don't remember. All I know is our scores together was a 13.85, which means the official score tonight for Son of a Digger is going to be 6.925. 6.925 for Ryan Anderson, Son of a Digger. Well, he tried. He was successful, but he also was just not quite where he needed to be. But this next driver is the face of Halloween and Monster Jam. I'll let you introduce this guy.
Bari in Orlando. He's in New Orleans. This is Bari Musawwir.
Bari Musawwir, look at that. I love when the drivers interact with the fans like that. He's trying to get them all on their feet.
Oh yeah, thousands of fans in attendance and the millions of fans that are watching this live stream. They're just going crazy right now.
This is the biggest audience I think Monster Jam has ever seen. No World Finals have even come close to this. This is just absolutely massive news for Monster Jam. Well, I'll be honest here. I'll be the one to say it. I have no clue what Bari could possibly do in this competition to try and take the lead.
Yeah, Bari's one of those drivers that you never know. He'll have a good, he's good in the other competitions, but really his skills challenges, and this ties into his skills, so it's pretty lackluster usually. So we'll see what he can do to be different.
I'm definitely very interested, not only from the skills aspect, but also just from, you have to do something crazy in one hit. And usually Bari's wow factors come down to chance. A crazy rollover in freestyle, a weird bounce gets him into a funky situation. I don't know what he could do intentionally, but he might be eyeing something.
Well, this would be a rare move out of Bari. A stoppie.
Oh, he's gonna fake us out actually and go for a wheelie.
That's the Bari we know and love.
Oh! It looks like he might have been trying to get a little combination there. maybe even a little something more than a combination, but there was just not the room to get the momentum that I'm sure he was looking for whatever move he was trying to pull off. Let's hear it for Zombie. Well, there was the effort was there. There was definitely something he was eyeing. I don't know if the execution was fully there. I'm not Bari Musawwir, but he definitely did have a little bit of rough luck. So, I don't know. It was a cool wheelie, and it was nice to see the combo attempt. What do you think?
You know, that was decent, but I think you can't say much more than that. I mean, it was a little better than we expect Bari Musawwir usually, but I don't think Bari has ever won a wheel competition, and that's gonna have to wait.
Except for like maybe a donut or something. That's about it.
My score will be 6.2.
6.2. I'm going to say it's not groundbreaking or anything. I'm going to give it a 5.5, which means the official score tonight, 5.85 for Bari Musawwir and the Zombie. Again, that is a 5.85. That is currently enough for 6th place here in this competition. Well, I'll tell you fans what. Team Spooky, they're not done yet, because this next driver, she is ready to burn it down, the only female competitor in this entire lineup in a ride you're not really used to seeing her in. Who's coming up next for the track?
This is Brianna Pirate's Curse.
Brianna Mahon, Pirate's Curse. Certainly not something I ever thought I would hear, but there's a first for everything, including Brianna Mahon and Pirate's Curse. What can she do tonight? Well, I'm sure all these fans are ready to see it.
Well, I'll say this. There have been 2 big challenges in Monster Jam history. Brianna Mahon has won one of them, so pretty good odds.
I'm going to have to agree with that there, but a lot of it's going to come down to what she can do right here. Oh. Not the room to grab the momentum. Brianna Mahon, that is how she got injured a few years ago, and she's trying to injure herself again. Brianna Mahon and the Pirate's Curse might have no body on even at all for Freestyle. Just keeps on rolling that truck tonight.
A few years ago, you were like 8 when that happened.
Yeah, it still was a few years ago. Rough, very rough break. I will say, it was one of the closer things to being successful we have seen. Even though she didn't land it, I would say Bari's hit wasn't successful because it wasn't what he was going for. But it was pretty close to being successful in comparison to like John Zimmer Jr. So I want to give props for that, but I don't know. What do you think?
Well, you know, it was a good run. The attempt was there. It required some. That being said, it was unsuccessful. It was nothing if it was that we haven't ever seen before. I'm going to give that a 6.7.
A 6.7 for Brett Knackley. I'm going to match that. I think that does deserve a 6.7, which means the official score for Brianna Mahon and Pirate's Curse is a 6.7 here in the Skills Challenge.
Everyone spam 6.7 in the chat.
Big things happening in New Orleans today. Okay, here's how things are looking. John Zimmer Jr. pretty easily leads this competition right now with a 9.515. The only driver even close to that is Tim Hall Jr., but even then, that score is only an 8.375. So these drivers need to pick it up. They need to start being more precise and focus on success over wow factor, because we have seen those drivers try to do one crazy hit and it has not paid off. We saw that for Ryan, we saw that for Brianna, we saw it for Cole, and Cole was almost successful but not quite. These drivers need to focus on consistency. We'll see how they can do and improve in that field as this competition goes on, but if anyone's consistent, it'll be this guy right here.
One of the best drivers in Monster Jam right now, and quite possibly the most underrated driver, your 2025 World Freestyle Champion, Blake Granger, Monster Mutt Dalmatian.
Blake Granger, he is already a fan favorite. I could pretty confidently say that. But is he a winner? Well, Only time will tell. He said he wants to take advantage of the unique obstacles on this course rather than focusing on something more standard. And I already see him setting up for something like that right now.
I'll tell you this, he's more of a winner than his ex-wife.
That is absolutely true. Well, we might see her do a little bit of a surprise thing in a little bit, but we're going to try to avoid that for now. Blake Granger, Monster Mutt Dalmatian, what can he do?
This is really interesting. It looks like he's going for a tombstone, but not from a standard container backflip ramp. And he's got it.
Very nice execution. You can see that balance for the Dalmatian. Walking the dog, as we like to say. Now, how is he going to turn this into something bigger? That is going to be the question we're all asking Blake Granger here. As he keeps on walking that dog. Very nice balance and precision. Going to give him lots and lots of credit for that. A lot of drivers have just kind of gone out there and hammered the throttle. Even your current leader, John Zimmer Jr. kind of did that. But Blake is focusing on balance and consistency. Like I was just saying, consistency has been lacking. Not for Blake Granger.
This one went in two-wheel skills challenge, but we'll look at that. Let's see. Oh, he pulls it into a wheelie.
Oh!
Oh my goodness, what a save!
What a move by Blake Granger and the Monster Mutt Dalmatian. Man, he just... You could tell he was probably trying to go for a flip or something. It didn't work, but he powered out of it so hard that he pulled off a wheelie. And then he said, I can do better than that. Turn the wheelie upside down into a one-wheel save. What a move by Blake Granger, Monster Mutt Dalmatian. How are you feeling about that performance?
You know, it obviously wasn't what he was originally attempting, but the move itself was incredible. It had the wow factor. It's going to be very close for me, but that's going to get a 9.25.
9.25 from Brett. Not a super duper high score, but it is a very good one. I'm going to say it's going to be a 9.4 for me. I think it was very cool, and he made the most of a bad situation, which most drivers have failed to do. So that really does stand out to me, which means his score, a 9.325. 9.325. Team Destruction is absolutely dominating this competition right now, and it is, quite frankly, not even close.
As we expected, but you know, Team Spooky does have one driver. I do believe he's out last. The racing winner. He knows how to do some skills, so if you're a Team Spook fan, don't give up yet.
I'm going to have to agree with you there, and Weston has some even, like, more, I guess, things pushing him, because now that he has a win, he's leading this event, and that's his opportunity to really get in there and become the first, or, sorry, not become the first, but get into his first ever Destruction Series. I think that's something he really wants to do, and we'll have to see if he can do that. As we start to get towards the end of this competition, we're officially halfway through Best Trick. But let's get back into the action. Another driver who I'll be very interested to see what he can do. It's Adam Anderson, Gravedigger of the Legend. I don't...
Because he's not really known for skills either, but he can be sneaky good at this competition, so I'd like to see what he does.
Yeah, I also just don't know if this track agrees with his capabilities. There's not really a lot on this floor that screams Adam Anderson to me. I think right now he's actually looking for something to do because, I mean, there's not much he can do. But I'm sure he'll find a way to make it interesting no matter what he goes for. You gotta do something we haven't seen yet. I think that's what we are gonna be looking out for from Adam Anderson.
Absolutely. Oh! He pulls it off!
Into a wheelie! Oh my gosh!
Big Steve!
Wow! That's done a tie rod, but nothing too big of a fix there. What a move by Adam Anderson. He rode a wheelie to this skills pod, did a bicycle up to this ramp, nosedived into this ramp and hit the gas after nosediving, hit the rear end so hard it broke a rear tie rod. Unbelievable. What are your feelings on that?
You know, if this was two-wheel skills, you'd hear the people, oh, but that wasn't a two-wheel, blah, 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 blah. This is the best trick, and that was the best trick we've seen so far. My score is a 9.75.
9.75. A massive score coming in for Brett. Personally, I think that's going to get a 9.5.